Another day. I welcome you all to the Good Morning Sierra Leone program, the program from the national broadcaster that starts your day with analytical discussions on news and national concerns. We are your presenters for Good Morning Sierra Leone program. I am Julian Kouma.
And I am Mohamed Kamara. A quote of the day is from Joseph Campbell, and it says, "The cave you fear to enter hosts its treasure you seek." Coming up in our programs, first, Sierra Leone Finland Investment Forum concludes in Finland. National Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Fair to commence in Freetown. And ACC and Photographers Union sign partnership to fight against corruption. As for the benefits of the partnership, we will have to find out from our guests. These issues and more are lined up in next 1 hour. We invite you all to join us in sending in your text message and to the numbers written on your screen. This is the Good Morning Sierra Leone program.
The Good Morning Sierra Leone program. Like my colleague said, join us, send your questions to the mobile numbers displayed right there on your screen, and find us also on Facebook at SLBC Live Channel 31. Let's go forward to our first issue. The first Sierra Leone Finland Investment Forum has concluded at the Central Center Kasia, Helsinki, Finland. Organized by Sierra Leone Consular Office in Finland, the investment forum provided an opportunity to hear about Sierra Leone's business environment and current business opportunities, and to meet Sierra Leone companies and government representatives. Now, for more on the outcome of the Sierra Leone Finland Investment Forum, as well as the Sierra Reggae Festival Volume 2, I have in the studio Suri Obai Kamara, head of the Sierra Leone's Consular Planning Team Office in Finland. Good morning, Suri, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Julian.
I think the first question in everyone's lips are, how exactly is this investment forum going to work? How would it better the lives of not only youth, but the whole Sierra Leone?
Well, I would like to first of all thank you and recap the quote of the day. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So this is something that what reflecting on, because Sierra Leone has over the years been focusing on UK and America. We forget about the Scandinavian world, which holds better treasure for us also. Because if you look at the educational fabric in the Scandinavian world, especially in Finland, where I'm coming from, you will be very much proud to be connected to Finland, so that we'll be able to replicate some of the educational values that Finland is like glamoring about. And the Sierra Leone investment forum was like designed by I myself and the Sierra Leone's Consulate Planning Team Office in Finland to be able to channel foreign direct investment in Sierra Leone, not only in Bo or Kedema or Makeni, but in Sierra Leone, which holistically covers our country, to to be able to also provide job opportunities. We know that the blood water issue is of grave concern in our country, but that can never be addressed if we don't have foreign, investors jetting in to support the already strategies put in place by the Sierra Leone government. Not only the public sector, but we should also look at what the private sector can bring in. That kind of PPP arrangement. So that is what I believe that Sierra Leone gain from immensely. That the job will be created and the lives of Sierra Leoneans will be better.
Alright, from my intro I did read that the investment from the gathering, it was to hear about Sierra Leone's business environment and to meet Sierra Leone companies and the government representative, but nowhere does it state, or maybe you would make us known here, how exactly will it go forward to actually fund entrepreneurship, present opportunity to youth, and so on and so forth. It is, after all, an investment forum. How exactly are youth going to invest in it, and what will be their benefits in return?
Well, the investment forum that's just concluded is not like this kind of talk shop as we used to hear around, different investment forums. It's just to go there and talk. No. Here we are counting, the tangibles. And as I'm speaking to you, the Finnish government that I pleaded to, is ready, and they've already made a whoopee sum of allocation money that was set aside already to encourage Finnish government Finnish companies to invest in Sierra Leone.
So in that light, is the nature of businesses in Sierra Leone similar to that of the foreign investments?
Well, yes, because there are certain business areas that Finland is also interested in, like the agriculture, technology, education, and the like services. So we've been trying to make matches. That's why we approached the Sierra Leone government through the National Investment Board, the Chamber of Commerce, the Sierra Leone Ministry of Foreign Affairs, our High Commission in UK, and it was the president himself who gave the presidential clearance so that all these government officials, including the special advisor to the president, to have attended the conference in Finland. And now we've been able to mark certain industries or companies in Finland that will be very much useful in investing in Sierra Leone. So that's why the Finnish government has already asked me to come to Sierra Leone and make the speedwork for the introduction of a good number of Finnish companies that we will bring to Sierra Leone come May 2023.
Alright, we do thank you very, very much, Sui Obai Kamara, for being on the program. Continue to stay right there. I'm sure more questions will come your way very soon. Now, remind you again, this is the Good Morning Sierra Leone program. Do send your messages on the mobile number displayed on your screen. Or if you can't, follow us on Facebook at SLBC Live Channel 31. Let's carry on to another topic. The government, through the Office of Vice President, will host over 500 promising young Sierra Leoneans countrywide at its first National Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Fair. The 3-day networking and learning program will connect final year students and job seekers to employers and place them in decent jobs to improve the ability of students to apply for and secure jobs, to enhance the competence of young people who've chosen entrepreneurship. Now, for more on that, I have in the studio the communication specialist, Youth Affairs, Mohammed Mansari. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Ahmed Mansari from Gatesville. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. So now, this is the first of its kind that the Vice President, of course, will have hands on. We've heard about several of these kind of dealings where job seekers and final year students who get the chance to meet with employers. And once they get to talk to them, it's just for the day or two. We don't hear much of it anymore. In fact, very few of them, if any, is even recruited to actually work in the institutions of the employers. How would this differ from the others that we've been hearing about so many times?
Thank you, Julian. The composition and nature with regards to this year's fair is quite distinct from the previous that you have been privileged or opportune to have seen. Mark you that this one is going to be launched by no less a person but the first gentleman of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and also been co-chaired by the Vice President and all other MDAs. This is the very first time we have seen. Before this time, most of the interventions we have been talking have always been the Ministry of Youth Commission. When I look at the plethora of the other institutions who have come together, other MDAs have come together to join the ministry, to join the Vice President's office, and ensuring that we get the very best of our young people. Good that we've had for that they are equally thinking of bringing their interventions inside. This is what we want to see inside. Over the years, like you stated, it has always been we give certificates, we have t-shirts, get breakfast, and if possible get lunch, and that is the end of the day. But this time you see how even the recruitment was done. The Office of Director of Science and Technology and Innovation, DSTI, created a portal, and that has been, if I still open as at yesterday. I have not confirmed from the Honorable Minister whether it is still open to the public. But you see the kind of interest that is being manifested by young people, and we are certain that before 10, by now they should be seated at 9 o'clock, because the official launching start this morning. I understand your team is even there. You're going to get much more of this and see not only the Sierra businesses, you're going to see our banking industries, you're going to see private companies and other institutions. They are going to have a conversation with these young people, sit with them, talk with them, and see exactly what has been the missing link. You and I know that quite a lot of us will be graduating from university. Many of us have not been able to even write a better application letter for a job. Many of us have not been able to go up to speed with a modern trend of even putting our curriculum together. So all of these, and what are the requirements these institutions really need from the youth of Sierra Leone? That is what is going to be part of the conversation, and how exactly opportunities could be open to them, so that at least we will help in reducing the unemployed rate of young people in Sierra Leone. More especially, like I did state all of that, we have now a youth bulge in our population. Statistics have proven that the number of young people ranging between 18 and 35 is so huge, and we have got quite a lot, especially those who got from education who are still jobless. They will tell you, I have been out of university for the past 3, 4, 5 years. I have not been able to get any job that can befit my requirements. You see others who are in the informal sector who have learned trades, but they'll tell you work not. Of course, we have the other category of those who have never darkened the corridors of any classroom, nor have they gotten themselves into any skills. But that is a different conversation some other time again with regards that category of young people.
So in terms of choosing these applicants, what were the requirements for this selection?
It's very clear that of course you must have to be between the ages of 18 to 35, and you say that again because of the issue of technology, many who will not have Android phone will not be opportune to do this, because a portal was specifically created with regards how exactly these young people could make this application. So that could be another requirement to say again. But of course, being that the fact that it has been something that we are talking about, we have been able to have their very peers, because normally it's difficult for us to address or talk to all of them across the country, but we have platforms for them where we share some of these things, where government always will engage them. They themselves have the ambassadors. We communicate to 10 or 15 of them. It will reach each of any of the platforms that where you think these young people will be. So it has gone viral, and the team there are those who will be selected from the provinces. I understand they must have come, and of course you also understand that the Minister of Youth and Culture in Kigali, Rwanda, it has been here. All of this is the people, other countries have joined us to have this kind of trade fair for these young people, entrepreneurship fair. So at least what has been missing in Sierra Leone, the areas who have not got them right, could then be corrected. So that is the period exactly we are now in the country.
So in this, what have you prepared, or what have you put in place for the local industry? Because you have just said that for those that have not entered the corridors of a classroom, that's the discussion of another debate. What have you created as a platform for the local industry?
Yes, I remember whether you had an opportunity to go through the document that was provided by the Vice President's office. You realize that you will have more than 10 or 15 institutions, local content agencies, and a host of other institutions are there. We have realized that we have young people in Sierra Leone who, but there are those who got in university, education, but of course also they have taken up entrepreneurship.
Okay.
We have seen them. We have seen the others who have never gotten any formal education, but they are in entrepreneurship. So there is a platform opportunity for them also again. But what we're seeing here in essence, the reference I made was that perhaps they must not have read what was made viral on social media and other handles that we use. We use the Facebook platform for even not only the ministry, but for most of these young people. We also again have to use the WhatsApp pages that we are, because hardly there is a very big WhatsApp fraud that has been used on Sierra Leone, that either I am not there, or the minister is not there, or somebody in the top management of the ministry is not there. So we keep updating them with regard to some of these things. That person who does not read and write must not have seen it. So that is the problem. But there is a provision and they are being catered for also again based on the MDAs that are going to constitute this particular fair.
Alright, so let's go to the selection. Initially, you told us the eligibility level. You must be in a certain bracket of age, and you must be affair with technology, own a phone, so to speak. But since we are all driving towards a gender-neutral world, and we are yearning to provide opportunities for not only man and woman, girl and boy, but also the disabled, how did you segregate these opportunities so that it will cater not only for boys and girls, but also for the disabled people who might, want to be part of this gathering?
When we were even choosing the others, that the 16 young Sierra Leoneans who took to Kigali last month, we had the same persons with disability. So there's always that component in most of our facilities that we provide. That remember that somebody that directly deals with disability with regards to the youth sector, who is also a board member of the National Commission. Whatever it is, they have a platform, they have a way of communicating. But of course, even those who are visually impaired, they are part of most of our social media platforms. Of course, you know that they have a way of listening to voice notes, they have a way of reading, they have a way of communicating. So they are also included also in the selection criteria.
Right, we thank you very, very much for that. Mohamed Atata Mansari. Atata Mansari.
Thank you.
I'll leave the class with that. But thank you very much for being on the program. At this stage, we try to make the Good Morning Sierra Leone a collective of different ideas, different information. So for that very reason, let's take this day in history.
This day in history, November 15th. On this day, 1777, the Articles of Confederation were created and approved. The Articles of Confederation were created by the Second Continental Congress and were later ratified by the original 13 states of the United States of America. The Articles of Confederation were the first Constitution of the United States of America, and their Articles of Confederation were later replaced with the current United States Constitution. On this day in 1806, the first recorded sighting of what is now known as Pike's Peak occurred. The first recorded sighting of Pike's Peak was made by Zebulon Pike during what is now known as the Pike Expedition. The mountain was named Pike's Peak in honor of Zebulon Pike. On this day in 1939, the cornerstone of the Jefferson Memorial was laid. Of the Jefferson Memorial was laid by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The Jefferson Memorial was constructed to commemorate the founding father and President Thomas Jefferson. Thanks for watching This Day in History.
The Anti-Corruption Commission and the Sierra Leone Union of Photographers have signed a memorandum of understanding geared towards strengthening partnership and collaboration to promote transparency, accountability, and responsive democratic government, good governance in the country. Over to Julia.
Now, the person we have for guest this morning is Tennyson Koroma Yamba, Vice President, Sierra Leone Union of Photographers. Now, I should ask you, photographers and the Anti-Corruption Commission having a partnership, and we are talking about the partnership would strengthen and promote transparency, accountability, and responsive democratic. How exactly does photography lead into or has any business with the fight against corruption in this term? I'm sure that you have a brilliant idea of how it will, yield benefit. Go ahead, tell us.
Good morning, presenters, and good evening, Sierra Leone. In actual fact, the word photography is related to cameras.
Oh yes, we know.
Good. And you look back at the seasons or years past with the change of digital technology nowadays. You have cameras doing a lot of jobs. In the past, even courts of law, you have cameras that do jobs that judges and lawyers don't question much. Just presentation of your photograph of the evidence of the incident that has taken place. As we all know, photographs speak 1,000 words. So, the fight against corruption with cameras, it helps more than a lot. I will put it like that. It helps more than a lot. With cameras, we capture images of incidents, of activities. That is why when we started collaborating or talking to the Anti-Corruption Commission, they were very, very fast to realize that the idea we wanted to bring was long since overdue. You should have been working with us. Like photographers, we are everywhere. Our number, our strength is our power. We are in every corner, every chiefdom in this country. We are spread all over. So, with us on the ground, with our cameras, watching every public and private sector workers, right? With our cameras, we are able to partner with the Anti-Corruption Commission to fight against corruption.
To understand this partnership more brilliantly, now that the Anti-Corruption Commission has partnered with the
the bad effects of corruption again on the nation. There, again, they are there to investigate. The commission investigates corrupt practices or alleged corrupt practices. They also try to prevent corruption. Their presence alone shows or deters people or corrupt-minded people from going ahead with what they plan to do. That is corruption. Now, involving Photographers Union spread across the country, being some symbols of the fight against corruption, will help to sensitize our communities that we are in across the nation. Again, we are going to be there to be like representatives, icons of the fight against corruption. in our communities, not only for public sector workers, but also for private sector workers, for everybody. We are everywhere.
Yes.
That's the reason, really.
Surely you are everywhere, Master Tennyson. Now, to elongate on our understanding, you know every sector has a tutelage process. For the ACC workers, I'm sure they know exactly what their job is, how to conduct themselves, what they should know is private and what they should know is matter of public interest. So I am sure this partnership would go a long way if training of your men, the photographers of course, will come in so that they will understand that this is deemed corruptible. This is deemed someone's privacy and you're not supposed to invade in it. So have engagements such as I have explained been done?
Well, let me hasten to go back and tell you that the Anti-Corruption Commission is its own duty. We know. We are not there to prosecute. We don't have the mandate. We're just helping them to fight against corruption. So we can help to sensitize, be as icons of the corruption against, the fight against corruption. So in that area, we are like whistleblowers, right? We can gather evidences, then turn them over to the commission for investigation, proper and prosecution, if and when necessary, right? In that area, we as photographers, we are ready. We are ready. We just signed this memorandum of understanding last month, and we told the commission that we are more than ready, willing, and prepared with integrity to work and partner with them in the fight against corruption, so that we help to heal the soul of this nation, which we know and have been taken into consideration that corruption is an endemic disease of, I will put it, for this nation.
Alright, so I'm sure more questions are coming to your way. Tennyson Koma Yaba, the Vice President of Sierra Leone of Photographers. I remind you again, this is the Good Morning Sierra Leone program coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done and its preparation, it's not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available, brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, chito, pizza and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base,
Ghanaian original taste.
Welcome back to our program, Good Morning Sierra Leone. Continue to send in your text message on the numbers written on your screen. And over to you, Yamba. The fight against corruption has been a decade fight. How does the mere presence of camera fighting corruption corrupt individuals?
Thank you very much for your question. It's timely, however. As I started saying, cameras, even in the Western world, you will realize that, or agree with me, that cameras have been doing extremely well, not only in the fight against corruption, in the areas of other crimes being committed on the streets. So cameras, the presence of cameras are very, very, very much needed. We've long since been needing it. If I'm to go back a little bit, the question the presenter asked me, we just signed, as I've said, the memorandum last month. We have plans now to first and foremost publicize the partnership between our union and that of the Anti-Corruption Commission, then go on to identify our particular members across the country, checking the background of their activities or their lives to actually verify their thinking, their way of thinking and behavior for integrity's sake, and present them to the commission for the training. We have to have training with people, special training. Although we are photographers, we have a part in photography called investigative journalism. Not that type of paparazzi as you are trying to ask, to go after somebody's private business. No, we will not be going for that. That's why we're going to have trainings for our members on this particular memorandum.
So in that light, have you any reference to a particular corrupt case that cannot yet?
A lot.
Okay.
In the areas of education.
Okay.
In the areas of health, agriculture. In education, we are in this country. We sometimes hear that they say free education. But I've gone to that school, I wanted my child to attend there, and we went there and they asked us for money. In these areas, if you have tips from the community knowing that you have joined the commission to fight corruption, you can have tips from them. Then you can go and hang around with your camera. So don't risky. But can take the venture.
So to throw the line, to throw the line on that. Now, when shots like that are taken, they are presented to the ACC. They are not written all about social media, and the social media people gets to judge the person, because we understand even the ACC does this. When they have any scoop of information, they investigate to prove whether this is actually right or wrong. So just to clarify, when your men take these photographs, do they present it to the ACC, or do they go forward to just post it on social media? We know people sometimes are very quick to judge.
Question like this is sending back to even the commission. If the commission could agree to sign a memorandum of understanding with us, it has been emanated from the idea they have gotten from us, telling us the do's and don'ts in the job, right? So that thing I've just spoken about, we cannot be identified and presented to say you're going to be in the fight against corruption, and say when you have pictures of some alleged corrupt practice, I'm going to post it. That's why I talked about the training. You should be trained. So when you're trained, even the pictures you're taking, it's not a one-time picture. Investigative journalism talks about documentation, something like that, right? You're going to follow so that you get proof. And once you get the proof, you are not going to investigate. You're not going to prosecute. We are just to us. I've said it already.
All right, we thank you very much. Tennyson Kolmayamba, Vice President, Sierra Leone Union of Photographers. Well, let's quickly pivot back to you, my good man from the Sierra Leone Reggae Festival. I'm not sure that we talked about this. Suri Obai Kamara, the head of Sierra Leone's Concert Planning Office. How exactly is this Sierra Reggae Festival Volume 2 going to look like, and how does it enter into the investment forum? I have the idea. Or it's a totally different topic altogether?
Well, it's like intertwined, so to speak, because we have to look at investment on a broader perspective, and the cultural aspect and that of tourism is no exception. So we've been trying to see how best we could coin, cultural exchange and tourist exchange into, some kind of concrete business, because it's a lucrative industry.
It is.
Yes. So we are not just looking at real estate technology and all these things as the businesses we are looking for, from Finland to Sierra Leone or from Sierra Leone to Finland, because we are also thinking about how best Sierra Leone could increase our exports to Finland. It's not all about taking. There should be that kind of two-way street. So tourist industry is very much lucrative, and we've been supporting it because that has been one of the flagship projects of government of the day, and it is also enshrined in a medium-term national development plan, which gave us the impetus to really have taken the Minister of Tourism and other government officials to Finland twice. That was based purely on the tourism aspect, but we have the cultural aspect because they are like brothers and sisters. So
not to cut you off there, but my understanding and what is tagged here is Sierra Reggae Festival Volume 2. Now, reggae and culture, well, reggae might be classed under culture, but it's not Sierra Leonean culture, is it?
Well, this is where I'm coming. Just give me, yes. So, we've decided to now come on the cultural aspect as another platform of business to do the cultural exchange. Now I'm coming with Finnish musicians who will be performing at the second edition of the Sierra Leone's Reggae Festival on Friday and Saturday, 18th and 19th November at Atuga Stadium. It's coined climate mitigation because we are trending. Other members are now in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt to discuss climate issues, which Sierra Leone is also suffering from immensely, as we've been listed among countries that will suffer from climate disaster. So that's why I'm calling it that way. That is helping Sierra Leone, and it is also help localize the idea, civic education, awareness raising in that aspect. But looking at reggae as a specific genre of music that we are like promoting in the cultural exchange is something worth reflecting on, because we believe that reggae is an anti-slavery kind of genre of music, and it's emanated from Africa. Reggae emanated directly from Sierra Leone. Really? Yes, I'm coming. My brother, just give me.
No, I am to miss.
Reggae emanated from what we call ambassador. Go back, you will know that ambassador is a typical genre of Sierra Leone music. But during slavery, most of the people who went on slavery as Suri, they came back with Johnson and Smith name, understand? So certain things change, but the value remains the same. So now we've understood that we have to tell our brothers in Jamaica that they have to come home. Before I flew to Europe, I was part of the team that really ushered in the Maroons from Cockpit Country, including my father, Charlie Hafner, and the British Council, because we wanted these people to feel home. We took them to Maroon community, Kutoro, church, and all the rest of it. So you will see that the Jamaicans have their typical roots from Sierra Leone. So you cannot tell me that you originated from Sierra Leone and what you are preaching out there in Jamaica came from Jamaica. No, if you came from Sierra Leone and your ancestors came from Sierra Leone, my brother, put this in, there shouldn't be any round pegs in square holes. So we know that we are using reggae as the marginalized genre of music in Sierra Leone to propagate the message of climate mitigation and adoption, because this is something that is like affecting our country. That's why we are here. As I'm speaking to you, during the visit of the government officers that went for the Sierra Leone and Finland Investment Forum, and I and my team, we are able to accelerate, the involvement of Sierra Leone into the Finnish and World Coalition of Ministers of Finance on Climate Actions, which is something good to write home about.
So in that light, have you involved the Sierra Leone entertainment industry in this?
The Sierra Leone entertainment industry is involved. If Obi Phrase, I myself is involved in this, the Sierra Leone entertainment industry is involved. I've already been the chairman of the Sierra Leone Musicians Union once, and I'm still the Sierra Leone Music Ambassador to Europe, despite the fact that I'm the head of the Sierra Leone Consulate Planning Office. So there should always be that part of cultural promotion in my office. So we could not skip culture. We've been talking about business, we've been talking about tourism, we've been talking about diplomatic ties on how Sierra Leone will deepen and strengthen its long-existing bilateral relationship with Finland, which has gone very well, and I'm sure it's yielding fruit. So this is the time for Sierra Leoneans to come out in their numbers, come Friday and Saturday to the Atuga Stadium, because the next thing will be that I will be taking a group of Sierra Leonean musicians here to go on cultural exchange tour to Finland and other places in Europe.
All right, I thank you, Sui Obai Kamara, head of Sierra Leone's Consulate Planning Team Office in Finland. And thank you very much for telling us the root of reggae. I can boast now when I am in the streets that reggae emanated from Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for that. Now let's move on to you, my German Amatata Mansouri. I do pronounce it here. Thank you very much. All right, let's come to you. Now let's talk about the end of this meet and greeting opportunities for job seekers to meet employers. At the end of these, how exactly would you evaluate the meeting with these people? Would you go along and check maybe after a month or so to check if these institutions have indeed employed these job seekers?
The part of the planning we have, some of them in fact will be getting them automatically because we've already outsourced, like I was telling you about the composition of partners, the office of the vice president. We talk about the Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Labour and Social Security, NRA, National Revenue Authority, have NACITS, quite a lot of other institutions. There had been vacancies, gaps have been there. So we now try to see that haven't gotten the kind of map that we really want based on those people who must have met the criteria set for the recruitment. Some will be opportune to have an automatic. There are those who are able to get at the end of the day, because we have got already a formula how exactly we look at the successes and what is going to be the outcome. All of those things have been put into a kind of bracket, and we have been able to have some clients on them before even the commencement of the program this morning.
All right, really, thank you very much, because this really is a great idea, I must say. To be able to provide job for youth, it's really, because our understanding is these institutions are supposed to actually publicize their employment, so to speak, requirements, but you are calling them now to actually pair them with these youngsters. Exactly. It's actually a commendable job. I must commend you on that.
Thank you.
All right, he's of course Ahmed Atata Mansari from Ministry of I'm sorry, from the Youth Ministry. Sorry for that. Let's go on to you, my dear man, Tennyson Yamba. Now, if we are to go forward with the understanding of this partnership, I think I'll be doing a disservice if I didn't ask this question. So this partnership, is there any incentive that will be coming from the ACC, or we are all just fighting corruption, hands on deck?
Okay. You see, as I started answering your questions that you've been asking. As citizens of this nation, we have been very much interested in the work of the Anti-Corruption Commission since its establishment. But we longed to work with them about, let's say, 20 years ago. 20 years ago. For the past 4 years, the way the Commission has been working, the challenges and the progresses that we're making have been tremendous. We notice all of that. As a union and citizens of this nation, we actually want to work with them for compensation reasons. We are not looking up to corruption for that. As a union, we know we want to do some job and we need to seek ways of giving incentives to our members that we will be identifying to do this job for the commission and for our union. In that light, we have to find ways. We know, we are aware that we have to write projects and seek funding from other donor agencies that we have been working with before. We know Anti-Corruption Commission is not an institution that has money to pay other institutions partnering with them. We know that. Although they have the mandate of working with other institutions apart from the government institutions, right? We write projects for that. We know we should do that, because giving jobs to people, you have to think of finding ways of motivating them. We're sure of that.
Alright, we thank you very much for clearing the air. Tennyson Nkrumah, Vice President for the Sierra Leone Union of Photographers. At this very time, we always try to make the Good Morning Sierra Leone a potpourri of different ideas. Let's take our health tip this very minute. We'll be right back.
you're still watching Good Morning Sierra Leone program. Let's turn the camera to Yoba and Sori Obai, head of the Sierra Leone's consulate planning. What are your preparations for this festival?
Well, we made thorough preparation in terms of the security apparatus, in terms of the stage, the sound system, musicians that will be coming from Europe, and also those that are in country. The rehearsals, kind of schedules are ongoing, and we've made a lot of media kind of publications, and we are still engaging the media. That's why I'm here.
So precisely what kind of entertainments are we expecting?
We are expecting live music kind of expectation.
Okay.
Because we really want to conform with international standards. The idea of mimicking or play back music is of substandard according to what we've seen in the world. And if we want to trend, we must encourage our musicians to go live, so that we will have many musicians that will transcend from just being like local musicians, because most of our musicians that we call top class musicians, they are only hired by Sierra Leonean communities in either America or in London or this that. So it's a shame for us. They are not hired by other institutions to play live. So we must change that narrative and encourage them to play a guitar or a piano, to go to Balanta Academy, to meet people who can teach them the music. Because you should go deeper, launch into the deep, not be mimicking of kind of playing on the surface. So we have to really trend with international standards. So that's why we have live band, and Charlotta Cabs from Finland will be the main act of the night, and Africell is also supporting us. Medical Properties, one of the companies that will be jetting in from Finland, is also supporting, and the live music will play so that people will feel the music from soul to soul.
Definitely, I myself will be there.
Oh my God! You have the mic on.
Well, thank you very much, Sori Obai Kabara, head of Sierra Leone's consulate planning team in Finland. This is where we draw the curtains down on this edition of Good Morning Sierra Leone program. Just before we go, I'd like to read out our quote of the day to you, and it came from Joseph Campbell, and it says, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." Fine words indeed. We have been your presenters for the Good Morning Sierra Leone program. I am Julian Koroma.
And I am Mohamed Kamara. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need onion palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it's not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easy done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, mixed fufu flour,